So in this presentation, this is a summary of my article in this very volume. So it will tell you some. So I just thought we'll start with some historical context, how the evolution of science advice has come in this country. Because in my present role, for the last 3.5 years as principal scientific advisor, our role is science for policy and policy for science. So if you look at the evolution of science advice, I see a clear, powerful trajectory. It is a journey that began with the Science Policy Resolution of 1958, which highlighted the importance of a scientific temper and laid the philosophical foundation for our work. Now, the decades that followed from 1947 to the late 60s were the era of institution building. So, our visionary predecessors, Dr. Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar, Dr. Homi Bhabha, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, and Dr. C.V. Raman, they focused on creating the pillars of self reliance. So, they understood that for a young nation, scientific infrastructure and institutional capacity was synonymous with nation building. Now, with this trajectory, that mechanism of how science informs government has also evolved. So, we began with the Advisory Committee for Coordinating Scientific Research, ACCSR, then transformed to Scientific Advisory Committee of the Cabinet, SACC, in 1956, and to the National Committee on Science and Technology, NCST, in 1980, and to the formation of Office of Principal Scientific Advisor in 1999. So each iteration from the Technology Policy Statement of 1983 to the Science, Technology and Innovation Policy of 2013 reflected a growing maturity. We moved from simply asking what science do we need to how can science drive socio-economic transformation. Today, in 2025, the landscape has fundamentally shifted again. The Office of Principal Scientific Advisors, science advice mechanisms such as PM's type, Prime Minister Science Technology Innovation Advisory Council, and Empowered Group, ETG, are addressing the need for integration and convergence that has replaced the previous era of creating vertical silos of excellence. This is what the vice chancellors also alluded to come out of silos and work in unison. The challenge today is not just to establish new institutions, but to make them talk to each other. It is to ensure that the physicist in in the lab, the policymaker in the ministry, and the entrepreneur in the market are moving in lockstep. So we have transitioned to a paradigm of science for policy and policy for science. Now, this brings me to the core of my address today, the role that science advice has played and is playing in this new era. Now, I want to spend some time here not to list a catalog of the successes or challenges, but to share the underlying insight that drive the science policy interface in India. When we look at the complex challenges facing the country, whether it is building climate resilience, energy security, or robust public health system, it becomes clear that decisions of tackling these complex issues require strong scientific evidence and the multi-ministerial synergy. Now, through mechanisms, as I mentioned, through PM's type and the Empower Technology Group, our office is playing this catalytic role also by bridging academia, industry, government, and society at large. So, in a nutshell, the Indian science advice system is driven by four key philosophies: democratization, ecosystem, facilitation, prioritization, and global engagement. I would like to share in this next few minutes few key insights on these philosophies using the examples of certain key initiatives rather than talking in abstract. So the first insight is that the science must be democratized to expand its horizon. So the first insight is that talent in India is distributed democratically, but opportunity is not. If we want to expand our research horizon, we must correct this asymmetry. We cannot build a developed nation if world class resources are locked within a few islands of excellence, while the vast ocean of talent in tier 2 and tier 3 universities remains starved. So, this is the philosophy behind the one nation, one subscription. I just wanted to mention this initiative because it emerged through the realization that paywalls were creating barriers to meaningful research. So, by negotiating centrally yeah, with publishers, one nation, one subscription is ensuring that a student in a remote state university has the same access to scholarly journals as a researcher in a metro city. You will be happy to know that as of now, in 2025, ONS has saw more than 8.72 crores full text download access in the last few months. This is totally unprecedented. So much access we never had, and this is coming from all walks of universities, all states, and all central universities. So we have 13,000 journal titles in this. So this is across disciplines. Anyone can access any of these 13,000 journals without paying a single pie. This is not just access, it is indeed the empowerment. Similarly, it has recognized that we cannot afford to have precious scientific equipments lying idle in closed labs. So this iSTEM portal was the answer to this. This is again by our office. It was inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister in 2022, and this is housed this is governed from Indian Institute of Science. So by cataloging facilities and making them bookable, the initiative is turning unseen capacity into shared opportunity. So this is what I think that iSTEM is also becoming a vehicle for gender equity with specific initiatives to support women researchers in accessing these facilities. But perhaps the most transformative step is the Anusandhan National Research Foundation. Insight here is that we need to broaden the base of our research pyramid. Now, the ANRF is designed to tap into the majority of students and researchers who are currently outside the mainstream of research network. Now, in this structure, what is unique that only certain percentage of the resources has been promised, has been given by the central government. The remaining has to come from other sources, the private sector, the philanthropies, state governments, and so on. And this is the new way of engaging with all partners to see how we can do science collectively. So we are moving towards a model where industry and philanthropy are active partners in the national research agenda, not just passive beneficiaries. The next one is facilitating ecosystem growth as a multiplier effect. Now, this insight is that innovation happens in ecosystems, not in isolation. We must move from projects to platforms to provide seamless ecosystem. So I'll give you one example from our office, and this is the Manthan platform. This is a platform for forging industry academia partnership on problem statement specific impact driven challenges. The aim of the platform is to empower various stakeholders to scale up the interaction with researchers, innovators, and facilities, and so on, and share challenges across focused on emerging technologies. Now, in the last 2 years, this was launched about more than 2 years back, rather 3 years back in August 2022, after I took over. Now we have more than 8,700 crore rupees worth funding opportunities generated, establishing more than 400 collaborations so far. Most of it is non-government money. It is not, it is really bringing our innovators, our academia, and the people who have the problems to be solved together on one platform and making them talk to each other. So this platform is really becoming very, very strong, and it has also now the international partners. Second one is the science and technology cluster. This is again from our office, where we have created 8 regional clusters, which I have written here in what cities, and this is what is bringing the institutes in the same city, same localities together, solving the local problems. And from tomorrow and day after, we have the international conference on science and technology cluster with 11 countries participating to see how this concept can be taken further. So this is again a very important initiative of our office, which brought many, many institutes in a given city together to work on it. The next one uh, I'll, is the root, facilitating ecosystem growth as a multiplier effect. The more of that, and that one that we saw there is a gap identified between the lab and the land. So the premier institutes were innovating, but these solutions were taking some time to reach the grassroots. Keeping that in mind, Dr. Chidambaram, the second PSA, started this very unique concept to bridge. It is Rural Technology Action Group, RUTAG. It was started by connecting a few IITs to the problem statements from the rural sectors, and they really have now many technologies which were disseminated, almost about 80 of them. And more recently, last year, we realized that we need to scale up this. So we started what smart village, Rutal Smart Village Centers, RSVCs, which is what I have written here. These are being established as a node for technology adoption and dissemination. Now, it's a very interesting concept. Each Ruta RSVC is looking after 25 to 40 villages, and this is really governed at a village panchayat level with some panchayat didi or a ex-serviceman, and it is funded from the begin with some private players to begin with, and then it has 12 tracks with like agriculture advisories and many root technologies which are being disseminated, and we would like to make it self-supporting within 3 years. So this is another initiative to take technology to the rural sector. The next one is the collective prioritization through national mission. So how we come out of the silos and really have the national missions where we work together and prioritize what is really essential in the technology, right from the research and development to to taking it to the practical level. So this is something I thought is I'll mention a few examples. National Quantum Mission. This is really a cutting edge technology which was initiated. It originated from PM's type deliberation. So this is now launched almost now 1 year back, and it looks at quantum computing, quantum communication, quantum sensing, and quantum materials. So already the funds have been given to these hubs. So this is again not a isolated institute. 54 institutes are partners in this. And each hub is again about 5 institutes with taking care of the complementarities of the expertise. And all of this has been started last year. Again, something example of how this mission modes can be done. Next one, of course, is the India AI mission. Again, AI is on everyone's agenda. This has been launched. Again, it came through PM's type, and this is now being implemented by Mighty. And this again has a layout of almost 11,000 crores rupees, and this covers compute resources, data, skilling, and so on. I will not go into detail, but on the left hand side, I have just shown a very recently released last week, or no, rather 10 days back, India AI governance guidelines, which looks at balancing the innovation and the risks. How do you balance both of them? So it is something, a approach where risks will not scuttle the innovation. So this is many of you are welcome. Maybe you might have seen the draft copy. This is the final version after getting all the input from the public. And this is something which again will be very helpful. The next one, I don't think I'll go more into that, is the National Green Hydrogen Mission. Again, came out of PM's type. And this is again really looking at our energy security. The next one, which started about 2 year back, this is a very unique mission called One Health Mission, where learning from COVID-19, we have put all the players, the human health, animal health, livestock, and environment in the same framework, filling all the gaps. 13 ministries are participating, and this is being led by ICMR. Cabinet note was moved by them, and our office is very integral to this. And this has many, many things in it, cutting across all sectors, because diseases do not remain confined to one particular sector. So this is medical countermeasures, capacity building, and community engagement. uh, I think I just want to mention that global partnerships are important. And here again, Chief Science Advisor Roundtable was introduced in our presidency in 2023. We had the meetings in Paris, and recent meeting in G20 presidency of South Africa. This was again held. So this is again a mechanism where the science advice or the policy for science, they are being discussed, and the common themes which have emerged in these meetings are proving to be very helpful. I think, let me see if I have any more. Okay, this is again looking at the global partnership with European Union, TTC, India, UK, Technology Security Initiative, India, US Trust, Quad framework. All this is absolutely essential for the global partnership where India is playing a very central role. So I think with this, let me come to the end part of my presentation, that what is the vision for SNT driven future? So one thing is that we need to look at the mega science, the science which goes beyond the labs, but it has many, many players. So in this, our office has catalyzed the preparation of these documents. Four of them have been released on accelerator and SNT applications, on the astrophysics, astronomy, on nuclear physics, and mega science vision on high energy physics. climate research is about to be released, and ecology and environmental science is about to be released. This is where the whole of country has participated to make a roadmap in these areas. And this is what we have submitted to the funding agencies, to various platforms to see how we can take this collective decision to push this mega science. I think the next one is, sorry, is it? Okay, this is just institutionalizing foresight and anticipatory governance. Again, I have written some uh, actions on this. Next one is the S&T driven future, where we have looked at the national deep tech policy, how the deep tech startups have to be energized in addition to the other startups. So the fund of funds has been created with almost 10,000 crore rupees, and the RDI fund has been released, which is almost like 1 lakh crore to have the private sector R&D and encouraging. And again, it is a big game changer. So we have ANRF, which is academia driven, and we have RDI fund of 1 lakh crore rupees as R&D fund for private sector. Again, this is unprecedented, which has happened in the last 1 year. So this is again on inclusivity in STEM. I will not go into, and this is again strengthening the trust between science and society. So I'll close this. I have taken a few more minutes, but this is just to reiterate that the volume which has been released today, where some of the points I mentioned are discussed in more detail. This document is extremely timely, and I'm sure, will be a guiding document as we go along. And I'm sure every few years we should bring out these documents to really see our path of progress and the challenges we face. So with this, let me congratulate once again Ashutosh Sharma, the president of INSA, for initiating this volume, and for also taking this annual meetings out of the silos, not only in INSA but to the various universities. I understand you are going to seven institutes. This is again inclusivity in the true example. So thank you once again for having me, and I really wish you a very productive deliberations in the next 2 days. And again apologize that I will have to leave because of the other commitment. But I wish you all the very best. Thank you so much.